In the time after King Arthur, a cloud over the earth.
If a great cumulus cloud forms early in the forenoon and keeps on growing well towards evening, then it must be watched very closely, for there is always a threat in its ivory heart. For in a cloud's heart the invisible genies of water and heat fashion lightning, thunderbolt, and storm on what becomes the cloud's anvil. But if you are lost on the sea under a clear blue sky, then search for a cloud near the horizon, for this signals the presence of an island, since clouds are not found over the sea except during a storm. Also,
But Percival does not continue, for a king's messenger's ship approaches and lands, and the king is handed a parchment by Bogar, who has come to fetch back his master. It reads, "All Europe is ill with the plague of the Red Death. Hundreds are dying daily and the streets are filling with corpses. It looks very bad, but Britain is not yet affected. As per your previous directive, in case of such a reoccurrence, Britain's borders have been ordered sealed by Taliesin. The process should take about a week, after which all travel and trade from Europe will halt for perhaps many a year. A similar message is on its way to Thule and to the Mystical Isles. What do we do?"
I must leave in the morning, Daryl.
I know, and here I must stay and rule.
One thing is clear, that if I live, I will return.
And I will wait forever if need be, my darling.
Daryl spends the early evening in her garden with a netherworld creature, thinking, then lies awake all night, dreaming of the dark otherworld. Daryl does not see Percival off. Perhaps she cannot bear to do so. Indeed, the inevitable separation is happening, but the foreseeing does not lessen the pain. The ship departs, and twice, once near shore, and again when Iceland is almost out of sight, Percival nearly orders the ship to turn around. However, the lonely hours pass slowly as they swiftly enter the lower latitudes under the blessing of a squall wind at their backs. There can be no returning now. At night, for twilight has returned as the sun rolls along just under the green horizon. Percival looks into the glimmering sea but sees only the reflections of a forlorn sailor of duty on his way to spending his life far beneath the top of the earth.
What would you give to have her here with you? About 8 years of my life as it appears now.
Suddenly the quiet twilight is disrupted by the clattering of doors below and by shouts of joy and girlish laughter that can only be Daryl's.
I'm haunted, but no, it is really her. She is hidden away.
Percival, I live now the tales of my garden of the dark otherworld. Like Persephone of legend, I shall spend 6 months of each year in Iceland and the other 6 months in, shall we say, warmer climes. And so Demeter, goddess of agriculture, loses her daughter Persephone in autumn and winter when nature's fruits disappear, and regains her in spring and summer, when the earth again bears crops. So it was that Hades had honored the request of his brother Zeus.
The gods be with me today, Daryl, and by God I'll take it, never lose you.
Chapter 60, The Spell of the Woods. Bogar returns in late afternoon in search of Evie, as his heart still leaps at the first sighting of Camelot in the distance. Bogar has reached the highest levels of squireship, and for the first time, knighthood is within reach. Evie intercepts him, finding him first, and they immediately take to the woods, for they have not seen each other for a week, and there are many things to do and talk about. The forest is alive with a strange power that casts its spell upon all who enter on such a fine summer's day, but especially on Midsummer's Day. The senses are always alive in good weather, and the mind is ever alert. Once they hear a stirring in the grasses nearby, but see nothing. Other creatures drop unseen from trees.
It is only the wood sprites making way for us, Evie, so we will not be disturbed.
They come to a dense growth of new and slender pines and slide through and betwixt them along the unmarked path of a well-known maze. They arrive at a grassy clearing and stretch out on the ground, resting their heads on soft mossy rocks. A half roll by Evie, and she is snuggled close to Bogar, her head on his chest, her hip yet on the ground, and her top leg up and bent and resting on Bogar's thigh. The chronicles do not elaborate on what they talk about or what they do, but only that each has never been happier. They do have a vision, or is it a dream, of Bogar dressed for battle and leaving witut Eve for a war in a distant land, so they embrace all the more and spend the night where they are. The enchanted forest is kind to them this night, and the love they share now and through the upcoming years will have to sustain them during the terrors that are to sweep the world during the next decade. For there are those who would take advantage of the plagued souls in Europe and throw the world into a new dark age.
Coming home.
The scene. In the women's quarters at Camelot, Melody waits for Hargrave to arrive for the dinner feast. But again tonight, he does not come. And this, the special midsummer banquet. Her eyes well up with tears. Has he forgotten her lately?
Well, she thinks he did say that he would be away now and then, off and on, to work on a secret project.
Just then a giggling page girl arrives with a message that is sheer magic.
It reads, "I have built a hut in the wood at our favorite spot. None knows it but you, my love. An ash tree this side, a hazel on the other, and in between a little hidden lowly hut where waits my flame-haired love."
She knows well the place of which he tells and rushes out of Camelot into the magic of fast-falling night. Out of breath now, she begins to walk and reads the rest of the message.
"I ask the gods small bounties, a secret hut in the wilderness." A moss-lined well beside it, and a thicket for the singing birds within, a row of tall, bright candles, and under their light the face of my love, her eyes the twin stars of constancy, drawing me to the smooth haven of her arms.
She arrives at the hut and looks in. It is simply wonderful. It is to be their first home. Hargrave awaits.
Come in, dear Melody, and share this secret abode.
And so, Melody steps into their new sanctuary, her heart alight with joy and anticipation.